Yes. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Everybody's sick, but you know, they're kindergartners
Yeah.
on
If
average.
you have kids, being sick is what life is. Are they ever not sick?
No, even when we're away from school for like months for summer, they're just like, I got sick because you put everything in your mouth. Everything.
Yeah, I mean, they're small critters, they do that. They love
Speak,
putting things in their mouth to eat.
Speaking of small critters that were eating things, Alex, weren't you bringing something up before we start recording?
Yeah, so, my wife went to go get in her car the other day, and, it was given a bunch of errors and such, so we opened up the hood just to take a look at what was going on, and, what we found was an entire squirrel's nest that they had built on top of the good work that they have done, which was to chew through half the wires for the transmission controls. Um, We took it to the
Oof.
shop. They were able to fix it, fortunately enough. But it turns out that this happens about 10 times a week for the shop that was doing the repairs. They say that the wires are made of soy. And so these little squirrels or critters will get up in there and they will smell the soy and think, oh, this is a lovely place. There's snacks. It's nice and, not windy outside. So build a little home, wreck all of your stuff. And then whenever you come to shoo them away, they'll act indignant like they've lived here the whole time.
I have not heard of that as a common problem.
When you went to the repair shop, did you hear a bunch of squirrels in cages in the back room that they would just let out? And
Was one of the technicians just a bunch of squirrels like stacked on top of each other wearing a coat?
I didn't open his jacket to find out.
Okay.
And
Okay.
also,
that's
I
very
don't think
smart.
they keep them in the cages. They want to generate business, so they re-release them in parking lots so that they can go and
Okay.
create more mischief.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
That's pretty cool.
It's a bit embarrassing though, going to an auto repair store and saying, "Please help me." Squirrels ate a bunch of wires inside of my car, and they say, "Why did you let them do that?" And you say, "That's a question I've never been approached with before. Why did I allow squirrels to eat wires out of things?" I now know I am the squirrel's keeper.
Why are the wires flavored with soy is actually the question. Can you just not do that instead? I specifically asked for a different flavor of wires, not soy.
You go to the car repair place, they say, "Hey, what's wrong with it?" No, no, you gotta see. You go and you pop the hood, and it's like, the can of mixed nuts with the spring snake inside, but instead of a spring steak, it's squirrels.
It's live
Real
squirrels.
squirrels. Well, now we know what's for next April Fools. We can do this. Thank you for generating this idea for me.
Now hearing how common it is, I mean, it seems like a plan that I'm going to see in one of the later books.
This is true. It's entirely possible.
That would be a good morphing prank.
I ate through Visser 3's spaceship wires because they were tasty and made out of soy. I couldn't control the squirrel brain, and it was a good prank overall.
Why are they soy? I'm still kind of amazed by the soy thing. Like there might be people listening that are like, yeah, obviously. But for me, this is brand new information. I just thought they would taste like plastic or something.
Be like Oreo flavored computer parts. I mean, at some point, you
Yeah.
have to question whether you're the problem by making something that tastes that good.
Hey, General Motors, stop flavor blasting our wires.
Yeah, like if you have the option to make soy wires, why stop there? Like why is that the only flavor? Or maybe there's more flavors that the technicians didn't tell you.
Doritos Locos sunglasses.
Flavored wires. Flavored
Flavored
just like
wires.
the sunglasses.
Delicious. That sunglass crunch without all of the calories.
Oh man. Man, well there was something to those they don't make this anymore, but those Doritos 3Ds, gosh, I miss those.
All
I miss
Doritos are
those.
3D.
Well, everything in the world is 3D, I guess. That
Big
reminds
Dorito doesn't want you to know this, but all of their Doritos are Doritos 3D.
that reminds me of a friend one time I went to get some sushi and they pointed to the ginger on my plate and were like, in ginger is not this color in real life. And I was like, this this is real life though, and it is this color. I don't know what you mean.
May have undermined your argument, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. I think he was going for like they had colored it artificially or whatever. But yeah.
Nonetheless.
So So is your car okay now? That's the real important question.
It is intact. I paid an exorbitant sum of money for them to get some other soy-flavored wires, wrap those in electrical tape, and twist a couple of metal ends.
What flavor was the electrical tape?
I haven't sampled it yet, but believe me, I'm going to tear off a piece and give it a shot, since everything's supposed to be delicious.
Yeah.
You're going to let the squirrels eat it without having tested it yourself? You monster.
Right.
Yeah. Animal testing. Yes.
Some people frown upon it, but if you're really, if they're eating wires and they're soy flavored, is it really animal cruelty?
As an academic, I'm going to get around to it. I just haven't yet.
Yeah. Right.
Oh my goodness. What was this book even about?
We don't have to get to it yet.
Okay. Good. Let me finish reading it while we talk.
What other adventures have you guys had the last few days, weeks, months, years?
Nothing as exciting as, car wires being chewed through and the flavors of them. So
Looking around like there's something that I've done in the garage here.
let's talk about the trash bag that I'm about to go through that's nearby me. Where'd you get that foot?
I was looking for something interesting and I found this foot.
Great.
It's certainly interesting.
A perfect audio gag for everybody to listen to. The sound that the foot you're holding
mister,
makes.
let me tell you what the cover looks like is going to lecture us on audio gags. All right.
I knew that was
Okay.
I knew that was coming. Patrick, please tell me about the foot that you're holding. The bloody severed foot that you're holding on camera right now.
No, it's not bloody.
Oh,
it's
okay.
stuffed. What's
Stuffed
what's
with
it called?
blood.
Taxidermist.
Ah.
Taxidermisted Bigfoot foot, which is actually a fuzzy slipper that I got for Christmas. Many months ago. And I was going to tell you it was ripping in the back because it's enormous, but it's just barely able to contain these massive feet of mine. And they were splitting up the back, and this is my strangest sewing project ever. I had to sew the backs of giant fuzzy monster feet.
How often do you wear these, and do they scare your children?
Frequently, no. My kids love them. I got rainbow ones for my daughter and little Pikachus for my son.
I remember at one point my dad had some that, like a while ago, and they made roaring sounds.
Oh,
that
sounds so cool.
Do yours make sound effects now? Kids probably break them in 2 seconds anyway.
No, I have to make my own sound effects. But they're kind of like Bear, and being a dad, I find it very important to tell everyone every single day that I am barefoot.
I see what you've done there.
You just, we can't hear it, but all the kids that are listening to this just peeing themselves laughing right now.
I mean, I just felt the weight of the dad joke just like on my shoulders, just bring me down a little bit.
Just 90s sitcom hold for applause. Just everybody stops talking.
Unnaturally
stops moving. They're still laughing.
Yeah. Man,
ready.
There's why is it that we can all imagine the exact same 90s reference by you saying that? Like, I immediately jumped to like Family Matters or something like that popping in my mind.
I was going for Friends.
I still have some of that music just stuck in my head.
Nobody has the Friends theme song stuck in their head. I don't think anybody can even recall what the Friends theme song is.
You could if you had to. Well, like the lyrics though, every single lyric would be tough. Like if someone said, here's $1 million if you can recite every word to a song, what song would you feel most comfortable doing? I mean, it's like from beginning to end, like the full 3, 4, 5 minute song. I mean,
okay, yeah. I mean, I know. I was going to say the Friends theme song secretly has, it's like a real song that nobody had ever heard except for Friends. And then 10 years later, when someone was like, "Oh, hey, did you know that's based on a real song?" And then they tell you, "Yeah, that was all over the radio." And I'm like, "How did I never hear that on the radio?"
Yeah, it was the Rembrandts.
Yeah,
I don't think they had anything else.
But of course, everybody can do the first verse, but then something about burning your breakfast and
they don't have that part.
I don't know
in the show.
Yeah, and like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air has a couple extra
Mm-hmm.
verses that a lot of people don't know about. That's we were talking about a few episodes ago how like there's for the TV episode where it's like this is just our very, very long intro credits.
Oh yeah.
See, this is just like we have 10 minutes of video
Yeah.
and we got to eat it up.
Just in case.
Yeah, if I had to recite a song,
I mean, it's also, can I add an additional wrinkle before either of you answer? Is
yes.
the more complex or word count or something like that. If there's some extra bit where the more of the challenge, the more the increase of money. Would you go for something? I mean, you can't mess up one word.
Okay, I have an idea. It would require just a tiny bit of research up front. It would be Daft Punk's Robot Rock. Robot
I think that would
Rock.
probably be.
But how many times?
I remember the very.
Would they
first,
just stop me when I finish?
I remember the very first. I mean, like way before I knew who Daft Punk was. Someone said, "Have you ever heard of a song called Around the World?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like how does it go? Like what is?"
And they're like, "You're never gonna believe this." But
yeah, I thought they were joking, but no, it's real. I don't know if that would give you the highest pay though on this theoretical bet prize money.
Okay, people, dubious contest rule givers hate him for this one weird trick. The more words you get right, the more money you get. This is the song that never ends.
There we go.
And it goes on and on, friends.
I was thinking maybe some like Eminem or even like D12 or something. But even then, if you have like one line that you mess up, you're out. I mean, I don't know what the repercussions is.
Freshman year of college, Zach, from memory, wrote out D12, my band, in calculus class.
Yeah, I was really invested in the course.
We didn't proofread it, but I'm pretty sure that he got it all right.
So really, I should have already earned the money from this exercise.
Yeah, I'm sure the clearinghouse will be sending you your check any day now.
Mm-hmm. I've been waiting.
Better be giant.
I do wonder if now that I have kids, if I have any like kids show theme songs that are just automatic, like the Paw Patrol
Baby
theme
Shark,
song.
do 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 do,
or that. Well, I avoided that one as much as I could.
Back when CDs were a thing, my mom was part of this Columbia record club, I think.
Wow. Okay.
It was the buy one CD at full price and get 12 or something for a penny. I don't know how they made their money, but
I'm sure they were very quality CDs for the 12.
Well, and my mom was like, you know what? I don't need 13 CDs this month. Would you like some CDs? They are negligible in price. And so, I got like 5 CDs at once, and I was, king of the world, at least in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to those a lot, just the same way that we used to, own 3 VHS tapes and watch those movies over and over and over and over.
Yeah, I got a Thriller album when I was younger on CD. It was like one of my first CDs, and listened the heck out of that. Would I know every word? Probably. I mean, there's some albums you guys have to have an album that like from front to back, but for the most part. I mean,
Blink 182, Enema of the State.
Yeah,
I listen to an awful lot.
Play that till it just runs out.
Yeah, just wore the grooves down with that laser.
Exactly.
The laser grooves.
I think mine would have been that Fall Out Boy from Under the Cork Tree. That album. My goodness, I listened the heck out of that one. Alex, you got any?
That's a very good question. As far as a full album, no, I don't think so. I at least I can't think of anything. No, I mean, I would listen to a lot of things front to back, but there would always be that one song, and I would just say, you know what, maybe not today, or maybe I'd just forward through it, or just not listen to it, or not pay attention.
Right.
And I don't think I should be punished for that. I think that it's very important
you are
that
right
there's
now.
some garbage song on any given album that someone says, wow, I hate this song. I skip it every time. I love that. I think that's beautiful.
It does happen. It does happen where it's like, I think they just kind of mailed this one in.
It's like, oh, I went to go see this Van Gogh painting and it's absolutely gorgeous, but I just really wish he didn't use the color blue. Like, get over yourself, bro. I get it.
I just bought these blue blocker sunglasses and it's ruining my experience. Yay, 90s.
I think whenever I would listen to any music at all ever, my parents would think I was listening to Chumbawamba no matter what it was.
You listen to Chumbawamba again? This is Mozart. I don't know where you getting this mixed up.
Come on, Mom. Golly, I'm like listening to whatever she listened to when she was a kid, and it's still somehow morphed into Chumbawamba anyways.
Did you guys listen to the Chumbawamba Christmas album? It just came out in 2024.
Pretty sick.
It's incredible.
Yep. They put the Christmas tree away, but then they put it back up again. They're never gonna.
Oh my God.
You're welcome.
Every song's just a goes away, comes back again version of a Christmas song. Frosty the Snowman melts, comes back again.
Frosty melts down, but he comes up again.
Foggy at the North Pole, and then it's not, and then it's foggy again.
Yeah. You get it. We should contact them.
Yeah, you guys get it.
Yeah. Speaking of foggy, hold on, let's see if I can do this. Speaking of foggy, and which keeps you from being able to see as well, which is a morph that some of the Animorphs have that you can't see very well, and one of Rachel's is the grizzly bear that they emphasize not being able to see.
Let me just
let's talk about this.
You right there. Because between this one and the last one that you tried to force through, this one is the stranger of the two.
Yeah, it was a weird week for this book. It was written by a completely different author, some guy named Albert Camus, and it was all about philosophy in Algeria in the 1920s. I don't know. I mean, a little different, just very, very unique.
It worked really. I think it seamlessly went with the previous 6 books. It just like went right into that.
Absolutely.
You got to build the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not every story's got to be about the Animorphs, but we got to learn about the world that they're in.
Yeah, you read that. I read an entire just sketch. I just read Dave Chappelle's sketch. I thought that's what the book was, The Stranger. Yeah, but I guess maybe we all read the wrong book.
2 paths diverged in a woods, and I took The Stranger.
Perfect.
Wait. Everyone shut up. I have an announcement. Good. Thank you for shutting up. This is Animorphs 55, the podcast. I am one of your hosts, Patrick.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Zach.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey, we're reading The Stranger, by the way. In case anyone
That's the title of the book this week.
Was not understanding that we're reading The Stranger. Number 7.
Why did these guys get so stupid?
Yeah. This time,
always were, baby.
there may be no way out. Generic. Guys, are you ready for me to describe the greenness of this book and the back for you as well? Yes. Okay. This one actually starts with okay. Okay, Rachel and the other Animorphs have finally found the new entrance to the Yeerk pool. They've even figured out a way to sneak in. The infamous roach morph. But they didn't count on roaches being a taxon delicacy. This time escape doesn't look so good. And then everything stops. Everything. The feasting taxon, the human controllers, the Hork-Bajir, time. Now Rachel, Cassie, Marco, Jake, Tobias, and Axe are in for their wildest trip ever. They're going to get the chance to decide whether they want to stay on Earth and fight the Yeerks or go to another planet. And the guy giving them the choice says he can save them. Now all they have to do is make the choice. ...
Dot.
Big spoilers.
You guys want to kick us off?
No.
Good. Well, I'm going to say that it starts off with him introducing the character. Some of these, I don't know if you noticed, that's Alex, as you've gone. I don't know if there's been a theme where they do say their name is a first name, and then they kind of say why they can't say the rest of it. And they might let you know they can morph and that there's aliens. Sometimes.
That is a good way to start this discussion.
Hey, you punted it over to me.
You're asking me if I've read the book? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This here book's a Rachel book, and she and her best friend Cassie are at the circus, and they're going with Rachel's dad, which ends up being a thing because Rachel's dad is a news reporter.
Something like that.
Anchorman.
They say, hey, we need you on the news, but like on the other side of the country forever. And so he's going to move away.
Hey, wait, you forgot about how much they love to destroy these places.
Oh, yeah, just like we had Tobias and Rachel racking up a car commercial because it used a hawk.
Mm-hmm.
Here, they are causing chaos at the circus because they are using stun batons, I think, on the elephants.
Yep.
Which I haven't done much elephant husbandry, which I think is the term.
Yep.
At least with horses.
If it's not, then it's something very different.
Wifery.
Sure. So I haven't cared for many elephants. I just don't care for them.
Yeah.
And that may be like the standard way to do it.
Yeah, like how else are you going to move an elephant?
Yeah, it's just, hey, go on, get.
Yeah.
You go.
Well,
go
we
elephant.
can just ask her friend Joseph. Joseph something.
Giuseppe?
Who she directly speaks to as an elephant. This is the first time, right? Where they just straight up talk to someone in thought speak. That's just like we're just gonna do this.
Notably,
risky, but
yes, I would say.
Hey, he didn't yell out and a light. He's probably
he's
not a controller,
right? They can't help themselves, as we'll find out at the end. So they get out, and then go ahead, Patrick, take it away with the dad, the dramatic dad moving away reveal.
I was just going to mention they are at the circus with her dad. Even though her dad isn't big in this scene, it is trying to establish that, yes, Rachel does spend time with her dad and she loves her dad, which creates drama when he has to move away. And so this is a fine example of literature because I'm going to call that the A plot. And then the B plot is they get, as we heard earlier, they get the chance to, they get an offer to move off of Earth to another planet and live. And, but not everybody, just them? The Animorphs?
Just a handful of them?
Who gets to move off the planet?
Well, it's never super explicit, I don't think.
Baker's dozen of people.
Yeah, I think they kind of make some assumptions about how this is going to go down. But when they go, I think when they go seek out the Yeerk pool, it's a big deal. They're scared of doing it. It's going to be awful, and then they immediately have it screwed up, right? But beforehand, we have a lot of dialogue with Rachel with her family, I believe, like quite a bit, like quite more than I remember any other character having with people that aren't Animorphs. And I would like to read out this one part, if you don't mind, a dramatic reading.
Please. Oh, please do. I cannot wait.
This is after Rachel's dad said that he's moving away, and then he wants to come up and she storms away. I'm not mad, but I'm mad kind of thing. Never experienced that. And
I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
And she goes up to her room, and he's going to come up and ask her if she wants to go with him. I went up to my room, and I locked the door behind me. I couldn't breathe. I kept clenching my fist and wanting to pound something. I think I could have cried, but I was just too angry. Rachel? It was him. He knocked lightly on my door. Can I come in? I couldn't say no. It would have sounded like I was upset. Why not? Sure. He came in. Wait, but she locked the door.
Through the locked door.
Yeah, what? Okay, all right. I see what you're doing there, Dad. And he tells her.
It just kicks it in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was
Boom!
like, it just says he came in. Doesn't really say how. I'm not dealing with your crap tonight, Rachel. Okay,
Your door's locked. I'm coming in through the window.
combat
There's
roll.
always a hawk out there. I can't come in through the window. So she's very moody about this. It is like, am I supposed to leave my friends and go across country? Maybe just a state over? I can't really tell. And this is a
She can't drive yet,
big deal to
so
her.
it's infinite.
And I
distance.
do say state as if I'm assuming they're in the United States, which I guess we haven't confirmed that until near the end of this book. Because there was a bit at the end, and I thought this was a big deal. Maybe it wasn't. There was a thing at the end where they talked about a butterfly beating its wings in China can make it all the way to our country, America. So they limited.
Oh.
We are officially in America if we weren't already.
The Yeerks who are reading this are like, write that down.
Write it down. But don't write down that they might be humans.
Yeah, something like 48, 49 more of these books, and I might have a good idea where these guys are.
Yep. Mark was like, hey guys, we figured out there is a new Yeerk Pool entrance. Let's go mess it up. Yeah, just go there in general. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's in one of the dressing rooms at like the Buckle or something at the mall.
The Gap.
Ooh, the Gap. Okay, yeah.
Oh, it's ritzy.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they go into the changing room next to it,
Mm-hmm.
and then morph into roaches one by one. And then there's a cool line and then because we didn't want all of our clothes to be discovered and thrown away, Jake put all of our clothes into a bag and took it out to his car or like hid it somewhere else in the mall. And I'm just thinking, here's the Gap, and then a boy walking out with a big bag stuffed full of clothes.
It's a different time.
Totally
it's
fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Who's gonna stop? Yeah, who's gonna stop a little kid?
It wasn't 9/11 yet.
Yeah,
you could do that. You could just do these things. And so they go and wait in the other dressing room.
Yep.
And somebody goes to the Yeerk Pool and they follow him in.
As roaches, which is very gross again.
Roaches.
Oh my gosh, they describe it, again, describing it gross. And then I'm in a changing room, so there's mirrors to my left, there's mirrors to my right, there's mirrors in front of me. I see every angle of this, plus my friend doing it also. Oh my gosh, horrifying. This was another part where my wife said, please don't read this part, please. I don't want to hear that. It's gross.
Yeah, they go down the stairs, and then there's a bunch of stairs down to the Yeerk Pool, and then it becomes dirt, which not important. But then they get there, and I don't know, stopped paying attention. What happened? Like they got down to the Yeerk Pool, and they're like, oh yeah, this sucks.
They barely got anywhere.
Back at the barn.
They barely got anywhere. Back in the barn situation? No. This one actually required a bit, right? So they get all the way through there, and it's fuzzy. They can't tell where anything is. I don't know. I smell fries, maybe. Whatever. Oh my gosh, a taxon is eating me.
Huge plot point.
Plot point. Patrick, good job. A taxon is.
I got to start taking
me.
notes again.
And they're just like, we are screwed. We are so screwed. I can't tell you how screwed we are.
Yeah, because they describe the taxon as having a long, sticky or hook-covered tongue.
I thought it was as long nerds rope,
to.
And they're the nerds on the rope.
I was thinking like a chameleon tongue, where they like, ooh, and then they grab it and they pull it back in.
Yeah, which is very quick. Like I imagine they're just chilling out on the floor, and then quite suddenly they're eaten. Like it's over that quickly. Like even Rachel described it as like, and suddenly we're dead.
Given the description of the taxons and how gross and scary they are, I would fully expect if this scene was in a movie, that it would be a very slow.
Oh yeah, like the
Austin
long runway.
Powers slowly dunk them into the pit of sharks,
or the long runway in Fast and Furious. Yeah, these kind of things. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I guess it does turn out to be a very, very slow tongue ride in to the taxon, because time stops and they hear a crazy voice.
Yeah.
It's just a voice. It's not crazy.
I'd really like to
hey,
know.
Animorphs.
Maybe it is. It's in a different font. We don't know how that's supposed to be implied that it's speaking. Alex, you're a new reader to this. When this part happened, were you like, what's happening?
Too many characters.
I had assumed that we were jumping into some sort of simulation or some sort of hologram projection, that this was another trap. Again, Visser
Like a
3
danger
seems
room
to be,
type thing.
yeah, it seems to be like preternaturally able to know, I knew where they would show up, but also they always slip from my grasp because, he's a comic book villain or a Sunday morning cartoon villain. So that's what I was really thinking. And I was going along with that pretense of like, okay, well,
All my
obviously
Sunday
it's going
morning cartoons were church.
to.
Sorry.
But I assumed that it was something like that, and that he was going to just pop out and be like, "Well done, Andalites, but now I have you," or something like that.
Mhm.
Anyways, it's early in the book. It was kind of surprising either way. But then to have a voice ring out and basically be like, "Hey, that was me," not explicitly, but essentially to say that was me, and have that
Auto
kind of
demorph
take
was
over.
also
Yeah,
a thing.
that
Yeah,
was
auto
that was
demorph.
nuts. That was so early in the book because I'm used to these like big long setups for,
Mhm.
okay, we've got to know what's going on. It's very linear. And then to just have this dropped in was wild to see.
I re I really enjoyed that they
Yeah.
didn't really do anything at the pool other than get caught. Like, that was kinda great, where it was just like, "And we failed."
Mhm.
Like, right away.
Great job.
But yeah, they're roaches and they're stuck to this horrible tongue, and suddenly there's a Saved by the Bell record scratch freeze time
Yeah.
moment.
Probably
Bet you're
wondering
wondering how I
you
got
ended up in
here.
this situation.
Yeah. And they all are human again, and
And
then
Tobias. Tobias
also
is also human.
Tobias is
Yes,
there.
suddenly.
And like, why is Tobias there? Because
Mhm.
they're deep underground. There was no hawk in the changing room.
Right. He
It's
was
just a
just
man walks
he
in and
was
then,
just
hey,
brought in.
I'm a hawk.
Yeah, he was just brought in, and then
It's my support bird.
we see the Ellimist. He introduces we see an Ellimist, something Ellimist, named Ellimist, or is a Ellimist, or the Ellimist. It's kind of a bit ambiguous with that. Axe is the first to recognize him because it's basically like a intimidating, quirky space god, essentially.
Yep.
That's
I
what
was
he's
going to
got.
use the phrase space god too.
Yeah. So what? Why is he even there?
He is there to, you know what? I don't remember why he's there. I mean, I know why he's there, but I don't remember what his excuse for being there is. Okay, yeah, this is where he offers to let them, you know what? Hey, this sucks for you guys. There's so many Yeerks and they've got like infrastructure and you are just 5 dumb kids and an Andalite
Exactly.
kid. And
Yeah.
you're all so dumb.
He's saying what we're all thinking.
Your leader makes bad choices and you're about to die. Anyway, I was wondering, would you like to go to my space zoo? You could live on another planet and, your friends and family or whatever could come and live there too.
Let me know what you
Wouldn't that be
think.
nice? Yeah, I mean, or I could just like put you back onto the taxon's tongue. Just think about it. And while time is stopped, they're all just walking around and exploring the Yeerk pool and, like moving controllers' fingers into their noses and tying their shoelaces together or whatever.
Mhm.
And he's like, well, just think about it. Okay, bye. And suddenly
Okay, thanks,
they're
bye.
roaches on the tongue again.
Yeah, because I mean, they said
And
they said no, right? They said we don't want to do that.
4-1.
that doesn't sound.
Except for
Mhm.
Cassie, who says, "Oh, he's probably an environmentalist." Yeah, that sounds radical. This planet bites anyways. Which, great job, Cassie. Thanks so much.
Yeah. I mean, even Tobias, who like has a lot to gain, was like, no. But Cassie, I'm sure we should do what you needed to do. Yeah. They say
Yeah.
no, and they teleport right back, and then they're like, "What do we?" They demorph, which is pretty. I mean, what else are you gonna do? You're gonna die, but it's pretty intense demorphing in front of everybody. This is again assuming there's no cameras
Oh,
anywhere, right?
but they got back on the tongue as bugs,
Mhm.
and then I think the taxon ate them,
Mhm.
and they're like, "I don't like being inside this stomach,"
I'm not gonna die as a roach
and so they turn back into people inside of him, and like a grocery bag full of wet
every
garbage,
time.
the taxon just explodes.
Yeah, Axe slices it from the inside. Gross. All I can imagine doing this is that the reason no one really, I mean, there's like someone like choking Rachel or something at one point, right? Like just straight up like on her. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, how do you not know what these people look like? Like your cover's blown. But I'm assuming they're just covered in yellow goop. and also just generic teenagers. Like, how am I ever going to find this teenager again in this large state that we don't actually know that they're in, but they're probably in?
No cameras is one thing, but I mean, maybe you should get one of your Yeerk controllers to hop into a sketch artist or something like that. Just give you a rough idea what people look
Rough.
like. This is becoming more of a liability than just a one-time failure.
This is like it's humans. Like, this is like, dude, they're humans. Like, there's no way it's like, well, maybe they morphed to an Andalite to a human or something, and I missed it. It was just really fast. Maybe they're just really fast at morphing.
Visser, I saw something really important I gotta tell you. Fool! This is my delicious morning tea. Die!
Yeah, it's just dead. Oh, I guess that's why he never knows that they're human. He just won't let anyone tell him.
Yeah.
But they do see that the way out. They see a
Yeah, they
drop
see
shaft,
a
which
drop
was
shaft,
introduced
which
recently.
book 2, where they get taken into the spaceship. They have a drop shaft. Oh, book 5?
Yeah. It was the Visor Mom one. Yeah.
Oh,
and,
right, because Axe was there. That's right.
Your
and
mom's
they get a and they just, well, Rachel has this grizzly morph now that she had gone on her own rogue and gotten a grizzly morph, which was very quick. I remember like getting these morphs in the first place was a big deal before, and now they're just like, let me go grab a bear real quick. And she goes nutso. She goes bear berserk nutso, to where even Jake is like, bro, chill. Like, you're killing everybody. Stop.
Yeah, they get into the drop shaft and start escaping and going up, not stairs, but just up. And Jake is thought speak yelling at her as a tiger. She's a bear. She's like, stop trying to kill me.
I'm on your team.
Your friend. And Rachel's just like, tiger, gotta kill it. Gotta kill it.
Yeah.
Friendly fire is on.
They do get out, and which is good. But
it is good. But then, they go up this drop shaft, and there's just like, now they're at the base of a water tower or something. Like, they're just outside. Nobody's watching. It's just nobody goes into this water tower. So
yeah.
And again, you have another case where there's no cameras, and they say, "Oh, we better watch out. The Yeerks are going to be here." So at this point, we've established that a Yeerk controller of any varietal is only as dangerous as their ability to hold you captive at any given time. It doesn't matter if they see you, doesn't matter if they suspect you, doesn't matter any of these other things. So it's kind of hard to believe that at any other point that they're really particularly dangerous, because apparently they could just write off that they're children at a mall or at a water tower or anywhere in town, because, the Yeerks might see us, but whatever.
And it seems to be a bit of a theme that like it's not too terribly big of a deal if they're seen, because I haven't seen much repercussions yet. But they could be muttering in the background, and just everyone's. I think canonically everyone's afraid to tell Visitor 3, right? Like, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Cameras were expensive in 1996, so
this is a series about learning good management techniques.
Correct. That is. Otherwise, the Yeerks should just dominate. I did want to point out that it was funny because, like, the way that the Elemis introduces himself to them, it was like, Axe is like, dude, he's everywhere. He's in your head. He has no body. He's everywhere at once. He's in your head. He's in the planet. He's in the fabric of space and time. And Jake is like, why all of this? Why
not my space and time?
How much you've been watching what I've been? I mean, we got teenagers, like, you know what I mean? Like, how long have you been watching in space and time, Elemis?
Give me some privacy, all-knowing creature.
I'm going through some changes, okay?
I know exactly how many hairs are on your body. All right. That's why we don't chat.
Yeah. Great, Elemis. This is why you do you, I'll do me. Let's please don't do this to me anymore. But they do get back, and Rachel's really got some inner turmoil still. Very she's pulled a Tobias and got real emo, and she's I can't even decide if I'm supposed to live with my mom or my dad. Isn't divorce fun? Which is one comment she had. Isn't divorce fun? Boy, that's real. Yeah, it's not. I can vouch. And the idea that she has to decide who she's going to go to while also deciding if she's even going to stay on the planet. And she has a lot of nothing matters. Man, she talks about how nothing matters quite a few
Nihilism,
times.
man.
Absolutely. Why do I have to study? Why do I have to do anything? Why I go to school? Why nothing matters?
And I love that they're all giving her guff for it. Like, wow, Rachel, you skipped
Ugh.
school. I know that this is tough for you, but we're all going through it.
And we're all going to school. Okay.
Exactly. And education's important. I don't want this book that I don't want our real lives to influence other teens to not go to school.
If these books don't sell and get into school libraries, what are we even doing this for?
I'm gonna lose.
Go to school, Rachel.
Yeah. So they do decide maybe we were hasty in saying no, because they did say no, because Cassie was the only one saying yes. And they're like, man, we just get our butt kicked all the time. This sucks. Tobias got screwed. Rachel's falling apart. I hate everything. Everyone hates everything. All right, fine. Let's say yes. And unlike other times where everything happened immediately upon saying really anything, the elements were showing them things and answering their questions and teleporting them to different places. They say yes and nothing happens. So they just go to school the next amount of time, just wondering if they're ever gonna end up being teleported.
And that's the end of the book.
Yeah, that's it. But they did get that glimpse of the
It's
future,
not.
didn't they? They got a glimpse of the future, and this is when it gets very sci-fi to me. I mean, more so than it already is.
Yeah. When we read this book the first time, I didn't really understand what was going on. I was just like, have this hazy memory of this book. Didn't they go to the future one time? How did that happen, and why?
Mhm.
And now I get to find out reading it again. The Elemist is trying to convince them again, come to my space zoo, and here's what the future looks like.
Yeah, even though they
Go
said
nuts.
yes, they're like, "Oh, let me make sure you understand though what's going on." Yeah, because they said yes, right? Like they said yes, and then he shows them the future. I believe, right? Am I saying that right?
I think so.
Yeah, they're straight up in the future. It's like just Earth taken over by Yeerks. Everything's desolate. Everything's gross, terrible.
A lot of swimming
Um,
pools.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of swimming pools. And then they kind of marvel at the public transportation for a few pages.
They do.
Yeah, like oddly specific detail there.
Yeah, we got to go all the way downtown in like a minute and a half. This was super cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we should let them take over.
Yep.
And then they see that they've kind of wrecked a lot of downtown and turned the mall into a like lake-sized Yeerk pool.
I think the
Mhm.
mall was a hive and like some building, whatever it was. I don't remember which building specific, but they were like made a point to say it was all torn up and torn down, versus picking like a field. They like specifically had a spot where they
Wrecked
ripped
it.
everything up and put a pool
Yep.
there. And there was a tower nearby that was not wrecked, and it stood out by not being wrecked. The EGS tower.
Yeah. 60 stories tall, and for some reason, the top 2 floors have been removed and covered with a big glass dome. Isn't that peculiar? Anyway, look at how all the buildings have holes in them for the taxons to move around. And so they're like, oh, we don't even need to worry about being caught because this is the future. Everybody's a controller.
Fair enough.
And so
Good point,
they
Marco.
they just hang out, and then I forget why Axe morphs back into an Andalite.
Oh, there was
but they pretend he's Visser 3.
Yeah, some lady bumped in and Rachel's like, "Get out of my face," or whatever smart aleck thing she does, and the controller's like, "What'd you say to me?" And they're just like stepping up in each other's face, and then they're like, "Oh," Tobias is like, "Well, we got Visitor 3 right here," and he, Axe demorphs just enough to show some blue, dabba dee dabba die, and that's enough to freak out the controller.
And then they're like, wait, Visser 3? That's not Visser 3.
Oh, that's
Only
right, honey.
Visser
We don't-
1 is an
Yeah.
Andalite.
Yeah, we still call him Visitor 3 back in our.
It's a nickname.
days
You
in
wouldn't
the war.
understand it.
Yeah, what? I mean, he's moved
Back
up
in
ranks
college, he
like
was
tons
Mr.
of
3.
times. So, like, why would you? It's so weird.
I love that. That was a
Yeah,
really
they
funny
do.
bit.
Yeah. Like, imagine someone moving through the army and he's your buddy, and you're like, well, just at lieutenant. I met you when you were lieutenant. I'll never call you anything above that, no matter how awesome you are. I'm going to bring you
I'm a
down a
second
peg.
lieutenant now. People will be confused.
Twice as much.
But unfortunately, they run into the real Visser 3.
Because of course.
And also Rachel. I know, out of the whole, like, not even the whole town, like the whole universe. But
Right, because they, what Axe turns into Andalite form, and they're like, "Wait, you're not supposed to be on Earth right now. I thought you were far, far away."
Yeah.
And then, well, sure, let's leave. And then they go downtown, and here's real Visser 3, now Visser 1 on Earth. I mean, I guess, that lady doesn't read his blog or whatever, so she doesn't know that he's coming to Earth.
All the piano joints in all of the universe. You had to stumble into mine, essentially.
I guess now that I think about it, because Rachel sees herself older, right? And that older Rachel
is like Visser's assistant or something.
Yeah, and in this future, she has experienced this exact thing from the younger Rachel point of view. So
she's like, "Yo, check this out. Check this out. This will be great."
Yeah, like I know where young Rachel's going to be.
Love pranking my bros.
You ready for this wild thing? Yeah.
Because when I was young Rachel, I wrote down the date and time of the future.
Yep. Even though we couldn't even figure out that it was the future for a while while we were there. Yeah.
Oh, it'd be even funnier if she just guessed. It's like, all right, so trust me on this. Like, I think it's about this week. So you just come down with me every day over lunch, and we'll try and see
there
them.
They are. It's like actually like their 50th time to try, but they're acting all cool about it.
He's like, finally, it worked.
No, keep it cool, Visser 1. Pretend like we're here the whole time, okay? I like that the kids all were like, is something? They were like, the sky is green, and they're like, is that weird? I mean, I don't know. The city I live in is really gross, I guess. Like, it's either just pollution or alien takeover. I don't know.
These blue blocker sunglasses.
Can't tell.
I just really love the next section with the, it reminds me of the scene from, so hang on. So Visser 3 is monologuing. Visser 1. Monologuing, we knew you'd be here. This is all inevitable. It's just kind of how it is. All 6 of you humans. And I think of the scene from Inglourious Bastards where he holds up the 3 and it's in the wrong finger format, and then they're all like, "Wait,
it was like this."
Exactly. Yeah. You thought that this was 6 humans. You absolute buffoon. You've tipped your hand. We knew the whole time that this wasn't 6 humans, but it was 5 humans and a guy pretending to be a human. You fool. None of this is real. The future doesn't matter. No free will is bubkiss. I just love the way that it all just completely disintegrates. And they're like, I could kill you at any moment. It's perfectly fine. But you can't kill me because it'll change the future. It's just such a complete, everything's falling apart moment that they just get transported out of before they get that nice satisfaction.
And Visser 3 is very much like, well, gotta go. You deal with this, older Rachel.
So I didn't understand, why would he guess that it was 6 humans? Like, does Elemis not know that there's 6 human, or that Axe isn't a human?
That took me a minute. I think, and I get to correct me if I'm wrong. I think the idea is that he, like, if that future happens, I think that they're not all supposed to be there, right?
Because Rachel would know. Rachel would know that Tobias was a hawk and that Axe is not a human.
I thought it was a projection by Elemis to kind of be like, here's what the future could be like, and this is the secret world that I've created, rather than anything more than that. But it does, it's a bit of a hole.
If it's a projection of Elemist, if it's a projection of the Elemist, he's like, hey, you know how when I stop time, you guys all turn back to your natural states? I just totally didn't notice that one of you was an Andalite.
Yeah.
You're all 6 humans, right?
I'm not.
One of you's not a hawk.
You got to tell me if you're a hawk.
The Visser was weirded out that Axe was there specifically, right? Like that was the one that weirded him out.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was supposed to be, like, was it supposed to be 6 humans? Like, who would be the 6th human then?
I assume that y'all know because you've read the other books.
No, I don't know. There's probably more here that there might be people screaming at the speakers right now, like, oh my God, it's obviously this. But that part lost me a little bit, other than it fell apart. Like you could in your head just be like, well, it just wasn't quite right. It wasn't exactly how it was supposed to be. Something had changed enough at that point already.
Hey guys, if listeners, if you're screaming at your headphones trying to tell us what the 6th human is,
yes, please
leave us a review. 5 stars.
Please
you
email me
don't
the
mind.
situation as to what exactly was going on at this moment. But it does all fall apart. They all run away. Rachel's like, here we go. I'm going to turn into a gorilla and just kick some butt. Does a big swipe at Visitor 3. Oh, teleported back. Oh, gosh, I hate this, which it would be very frustrating.
And I just have to imagine Rachel's standing there. Now, hold on. I'm turning into a bear. Don't
Nobody
go
move.
anywhere.
Nobody move.
This will take about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Should I hit him with my tail?
Have we taken
No.
away the? It's a long thing. It's a kind of a shorter thing now. It seems like morphing is just kind of quicker and quicker as we do this.
Yeah, well, we decided it would take them 7 seconds to fall out of the spaceship and hit the ground from a
Right.
few books back.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So
We did the math.
when they get out of there, they're in class, and her teacher has a weird moment. Another reading I will do here.
Yeah, this made no sense to me either.
And then the oddest thing happened. Miss Paloma looked right at me, right into my eyes. Much more complicated than that, she said. A single butterfly, a single butterfly, a single butterfly. The hair on the back of my neck was tingling, and everyone was looking at her like she was crazy. Suddenly, she shook her head like she was popping out of a trance. Okay, well, anyway, you all have the reading assignments. Which obviously was the Elemist, right? The Elemist was like messing with the world for a moment, doing a little puppetry.
That's my assumption. But maybe
Oh,
she was
okay.
just tapped into it. She was just tapped into the oversoul, man.
Maybe so. Or maybe she was just really high. I don't know.
It's also possible. Miss Paloma, you doing all right?
Miss Paloma.
I've
What you
gone
got?
mad with power with my position of authority as teacher.
Yeah, so they get out of there, and they're just Cassie. It's bugging Cassie. It's bugging everyone. They're just like, this doesn't feel right, man. Like, what is this? I don't get it. And suddenly, Rachel comes to the realization, dude, he wanted us to say no, and he just kept, like, he had said no. We said no the first time. That got us out of being almost dead. Then he got us in another situation to say no. When we said yes, it was like, you didn't say that. I want you to look at this. Oh, you see this tower that's next to the Yeerk pool in the future that's holding this thing. Obviously, it's an important tower. What do you think's in there? What do you think it is right now? Go find it. The Kandrona
Yeah,
that they've been
just-
looking for this whole
yeah.
book is in the EGS tower. Big reveal
With the cool dome on it.
with
Yeah.
the cool dome on it. Big reveal. I mean, there was a lot of like time twisty, like, but if I do this and I decide this, then does that mean the future's set? But then if I did that already, then in the past, did it matter what I said? There's a lot of that. But it was a cool realization to be like, oh my gosh, it was in the EGS tower the whole time.
This elevator ride of just, well, we know we're going up to the top floor. We know we're going to beat a bunch of people up, transform, et cetera, et cetera. Don't know. It's very much the elevator scene you always see in any of these action films. It's like, all right, if anybody wants to get off, what are we going to do? I guess we'll just go ahead and wing it. And then everybody busts out of there, which fun, but
It is fun.
more
but it's used a lot.
visually fun than it was to kind of read about it. It felt kind of silly.
I did like that right before that. We had a quintessential Yeerk giving himself away thing where Marco knocks on the door as a gorilla. And the guard's like, what? Go away. And he said, thought speaks something about a masquerade, which obviously that would be a human, but whatever. Visitor 3, looking for Visitor 3. And then the guard goes, Andalite! Oh, good. You're a controller. Okay, I can just take
Perfect.
you out. I don't care now. This is great. Which was pretty awesome. I did. That's probably how I would operate too. This is easier now. Thank you. But they go up that elevator, and then is this the most violent scene in the books so far?
So far, I think so. Yeah. There's just they go up against a bunch of Hork-Bajir. Everybody
5v8.
is covered in knives, and yeah, everybody is bleeding a lot. And then Rachel's a bear again, and she throws a Hork-Bajir out the window. And then for some reason, the ones that they've killed, we'll keep fighting. But then once that one's out the window, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, we're good.
So the rest of them retreat.
Mm-hmm.
And so then Marco blocks the door and pushes a desk or something in front of it. And then they all demorph and remorph so they're healthy again.
Yeah, Marco's like holding his stomach in. Rachel's missing a foot. I think a Hork-Bajir's arm was severed. It was a bad deal.
And this is where they explain the DNA stuff
Yep.
where, oh yeah, you get hurt super bad. Well, it's fine. Your DNA doesn't know that you're hurt.
Except
Sure.
earlier.
Your DNA does know that you're tired.
Yes. Cassie had an analogy earlier telling Jake, hey, he's like, he's like an environmentalist. I have a scar on my wrist from a time that I was trying to catch a animal to save it. And I was like, why do you have a scar on your wrist? I
No,
thought
you
it
don't.
fixes. So my headcanon now, which is constantly changing, is any scars you had when you got the morphing technology, you already have it. And then after that, you're good. Right? Does that make sense? I mean, otherwise you're like losing ear piercings and like all kinds of things.
Well, this book opened me
Gen-
up to a very difficult. Oh, sorry. What did you say, Patrick?
Oh, no, I was just going to add that genetically, your hair has never been cut.
Correct. That's the one that always gets me. That's the one that always gets me.
But he unmorphs and they're just all like completely bald. They just have to regrow everything for a couple of days.
Every time. Yeah.
But no, it led to a very odd. This book opened up way too many questions about a lot of this. Like, for instance, if it is relying on the new DNA, you're able to move into what the mind of the creature is. You're fully inhabiting their DNA. Does that mean that if you choose, I think we talked about this before, like she chose the fat bear at the zoo. Does that mean that her morph of a bear is a fatter version than, a grizzly bear out in the woods that's perhaps a little bit more lean and mean?
Ooh, like what bear did you get?
Right. And by that token,
That's
since
a good point.
Tobias is in a red-tailed hawk and he's completely governed by the DNA of the red-tailed hawk, does that mean his lifespan is affected by turning into that bird?
I think that could be a thing. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, especially like what if you acquired this bird when it's already like, I don't know how
It's
old
2
these
days
birds
from
are,
retirement.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and so you just you realize, oh crap, I got stuck as a knotlet in an old ass bird, and now
Old
I'm really
bird.
screwed. Yeah.
Just morphing into a fruit fly or something lives like half a day.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's longer than 2 hours. So
Yeah.
I guess that's fine.
Thank goodness.
And that reminds me of another thing. There's a part where Rachel says in this book, I don't even remember at what point, she said, "Oh man, I have 2 hours to be in this morph. 2 hours and 1 minute though, you're stuck." Is that true? Is it a hard line? Is it like I'm good at the 59-second mark and then at that next one I'm not? Because I feel like we've had an instance or two where it's borderline and it's like difficult, but not impossible. And my always thought was that it's like quicksand. That like if quicksand is even a thing.
It is real.
You're okay, good. That you're morphing and then it gets harder to morph, and it gets even harder, and then eventually you just can't do it. But it is a good range of time where it gets more challenging. Maybe other people have other theories.
Yeah, kind of in the same way that, there's not like a instant death for Yeerks at the 72-hour mark after leaving the Yeerk pool.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, I'm hungry and going crazy.
yeah, it's painful ahead of time. Hmm. But they knocked that Condrona out, and they're like, and they do for the first time, I think.
Yeah, Rachel turns into an elephant and headbutts it
Mhm.
until it rolls out the window 60 floors down.
60
And I do
floors
think-
down. Yeah.
Yeah,
In the
it's
middle
a
of a city.
Big, tall building.
But they did check. They said they checked to make sure that it was early morning and checked. There's no one on the street.
Yeah, because Rachel threw the one Hork-Bajir out the window, and then Tobias comes in and goes to see her and attacks, and then they all run away. But then he's like, hey, I'm going to throw this out the window. Can you see if anyone's down on the street? Okay. And so he just like flies out that hole again.
Yep. Yep.
Like, now you're good.
Yeah,
You're good. Don't worry about it.
Throw this thing down. Throw this thing down. Hit the Hork-Bajir if you can. It's already down there.
Tobias
I
doesn't
survived.
actually check.
The Hork-Bajir's like, no, wait, I'm still here. Boom. Oh. There was,
Scene in Austin Powers where he's saying, why won't you die?
yeah.
I'm okay.
When they were in that battle, there was a funny line where they had the Hork-Bajir doing that English Hork-Bajir language mix thing.
Yeah, I never understood why they do that.
Is this not absolutely substitutions for curse words?
Oh, absolutely.
This
it's gotta be.
is kill the Gaffner Andalites, a Hork-Bajir cried in the weird mix of languages that they use. Kill Fragant Andalite. Pile off, kill all.
I think it's worse
That's
if
all I
it's
could read it as.
some sort of slur or, it's like, man, y'all need to watch your mouths. Okay?
Yeah,
Y'all got
come
a
on
potty
over
mouth
here.
over here.
This is a kid's book. We're writing all this down, okay? You need to keep your mouth clean.
Your primitive Earth language does not express how much I hate you guys.
That's what it seems like.
There's no curse word in English that's sufficient for this. Got to use the old words.
So then they beat the Kandrona, and then they say there was some definite effects, but that's a story for another time, which I think is the first time they've ever said, like, hey, I'll get to that later. And then we're out, man. We end with the very last line of I nodded my head. Oh, you're coming, Rachel? Tobias called down to me in thought speak. I nodded my head so he could see. Yes, I was coming. As a bird to go fly out in the sky.
Yeah. Oh, and Rachel makes the official decision. She's not moving across the country to live with her dad.
Yeah,
and
sure.
then her dad gets on in a taxi and leaves.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air style.
Not a big surprise that Rachel did not quit the Animorphs in book 7.
Now, okay, sorry, I got to go back to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air thing again.
Obviously.
So in the TV version of the song, like, hey, you got to go to Bel-Air. Okay, so I get in a cab, and then I drive from Philadelphia all the way to like L.A., which I assume is where Bel-Air is. And I'm like, that's a long cab ride. And what's that cab guy gonna do on the way back? He's just got to drive solo. But in the expanded version of the song, he gets on a plane. You guys know that?
I did not.
On the way back, like he flies the cabbie back.
No, he doesn't just like leave his auntie's house in Philadelphia. Like,
oh
gosh,
he flies there.
He flies to
he flies
Bel-Air,
then
and then
cabs to the house.
Yeah, from the airport.
That's right.
Yeah,
this would not be one of the songs I would get $1 million for.
No.
So we finish up that book. We read ourselves The Stranger, and what do you guys give it?
But who was this? Oh, The Stranger is the Elemist, because they don't know him yet, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, good. That's a good mystery. I liked it. It introduces one of the more interesting characters in the series. Yeah, I liked it. There was time travel shenanigans that you never get. It paralleled A plot and B plot with Do We Move Away? They got 2 chances to move. New Morph lore with healing up. More floor.
More floor.
Yeah, well, more floor. Like you're asking for like there to be a little bit more floor in your house.
Additional
flooring, please.
Yeah. And the circus shenanigans at the beginning were like, I just don't know enough about elephants to judge if you guys are doing the right thing or not.
Yeah.
But your heart's in a good place, I think.
Hopefully.
I want to give this one a 7. I wanted to give it an 8, but there were just a couple of things that is going to make me sound like I'm not smart. But I didn't understand about the time traveling. Like, he said the wrong thing. 6 humans. And
yeah.
If you say so.
It fell apart, yeah.
Yeah. But, it's pretty good.
Alex, what do you got?
Okay, so my categories and kind of not plus and minuses, but just notes about it. Is this the longest book so far?
It felt like it.
It seemed pretty long comparatively.
It felt like it. I think if it's not, then 2 was, which is also a Rachel book.
Gotcha. Rachel loves writing. Good for her.
Yeah. Well, I find that she has the most dialogue in her books so far. There's the most like conversations.
True.
Anyways.
I think as far as the B plot goes about her home life and family life, it was the most difficult to really relate to anything else. Like, yes, I understand this is a difficult choice that you're making, but there's a big difference between do I move across country, leave all of my, like make these changes at the last second in my high school career, or do I continue on with this thing that's now defining my life, et cetera, leave it behind. It was very heavy-handed, and it didn't really feel as identifiable because of that. But I felt like her dilemma around, what is, what's the point? If I'm going through all of this, we've seen these visions, we've seen all of this. Um, it did a good job conveying her mental state, but much like some of the Jake stuff, I find myself not caring so much about her personal stakes, even though they connect her to what the greater stakes for the Animorphs are. So I think I'm probably going to give this one a 6.5. Even though there were a lot of things that I really did like about it, I feel like it was a little heavy handed in places that I would have preferred to see it explored more slowly rather than this, like, oh, there's not a whole lot going on. She's just talking with her parents about, some difficult things. Psych, there's an all powerful universal creature who's putting you in a dilemma all of a sudden. Oh, just kidding. They've gone, and now you've just got to go about your normal life. Psych. Okay, we've got an important. It was very jarring. That's the word that I would use for this book. It was very jarring overall. So yeah,
I think as we go, that character is I don't know if it's spoilers or anything, but like that kind of is on purpose, I suppose. It won't be the last time we experience that kind of thing, that kind of feeling. So for me, I think I brought up when we power ranked these characters that I was always like, Rachel's so angry, and and like so intense, and I don't know why. Like it never really, I didn't feel like it ever really explained why. She just was, and I feel like for the first time, this was one where I was like, oh, I get it. Like I see she's got a lot of emotions and why she's. I mean, the bear was good about going berserker mode and all these things. So I felt that out of her. I mean, I grew up with divorce. I get that kind of stuff. But she was pretty stressed out, and I think the Elemis is a pretty cool character. I think even though I've read this book probably now like 10 times or something in my life, the first time or two when with the whole twist as a kid, I thought it was incredible. Like, whoa, you're showing me this thing to get me to think one way, but you actually are trying to give me a hint another way, and I'm a demigod, but I'm bound by the rules of whatever game I'm playing or something. And so I have to do I thought that was all maybe I just hadn't read enough sci-fi as a kid. But it blew my mind when I was younger. Still think it holds up pretty good. And it's their first to me, it's their first like real win, like their first proactive win.
that's true. It's fair.
Everything else is either we're saving our butts or we're barely surviving. So I'm gonna give it a more than I remember liking a Rachel book a lot. I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna give it a 9.
Ooh. La la.
9 EGS towers specifically with clear domes on them, not the covered domes that are frustrating.
Okay.
Or whatever they said. They said something like that earlier. Okay, so by the way, that means that our next book is a Megamorphs for the first time.
Ooh.
Alex, I don't know if you know what a Megamorphs is. I might just be saying nonsense words to you. Megamorphs, I think of it as like if these books are a show, I tend to feel like the Megamorphs is like a
Christmas episode.
when the Power Rangers movie yeah, when the Power Rangers movie came out. Remember how big of a deal that was versus the
Yes.
show?
Yes.
It's very much that. That's how I picture the Megamorphs is the Power Rangers
They're
movie
gonna
instead
fight
of the show.
Ivan Ooze. That's great. I love that.
They might. You don't know.
Dang.
You don't know.
Oh gosh, I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh.
I did have
Trouble.
Patrick. I've always had that song stuck on my head, Patrick. I think that was my ringtone at one
Always.
point. Yeah.
Nice.
Patrick, you wanna do the intro, the closing segment for us?
I am unclear as to what you are speaking.
Oh, the perfect. The Morph pranks. I want to know. My question for you guys is, if you could
Awesome.
use, obviously you'd use your morphing for good, right? Obviously, this is our.
But sometimes you got to get silly.
Yeah. What would be a way you could use your morphing for pranking? What you got? I mean, an obvious one is you could just turn into a birds and like go, crap on everyone's cars or whatever, or them, or something like that. But is that a prank or is that mean spirited? I don't know.
Turn into a squirrel that eats some wiring. Got him good.
Yeah.
Play us off, Shawnee.
A few episodes ago, we did one about it's probably the first episode where we were talking about thought speak with images and feelings and what all else.
Mhm.
We were talking about Wile E. Coyote painting a tunnel on a wall and
Convincing people to
having
do
run
it.
into yeah. But then in the Yeerk pool in book 1, they describe it as having a hole in the ceiling. It's like maybe a manhole cover sized hole in the ceiling. And so I just thought, how great would it be to just mind project your image of, no, there's not a hole there.
Mm-hmm.
And just walk along and
Maybe cover like a blanket over it just in case. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could totally con people with your super well trained pet. That's really you're morphed into a pet, and then your friend is getting you to do like literally anything at all for money. Well, that goes a little far, but you know what I mean.
Now I think all of the America's Got Talent pet trainer people are yelling at us like, no, don't you take our jobs with with your morphed friends. I train these dogs and it's a lot of work.
Out of all the people that our morphing could make angry in the entire world, it's the Puppy Bowl or whatever they play opposite the Super Bowl. Those people
trying to adopt dogs or cats, and they're just out there playing around and chasing mice and stuff. And no, I'm a kitten and I'm stiff arming the other cats, just trying to get points. Little touchdown dance.
You could go to your friend's house and be like, I hate cats. I'm gonna go get this guy's cat. I'm gonna morph this cat. I'm gonna go through their house and just knock everything over, just destroy everything. Demorph, throw the real cat back in there, be like, you deal with the repercussions. Peace out, cat. Good.
I think we've done it. Those are the pinnacle of pranks.
Pranking my bros.
All right. Good job, everybody. See you next time. Don't stay in morph for more than 2 hours. That's how they get you.
2 hours and 1 minute, apparently, to Rachel.
Oh, they'll still get you.
That's
Bye
how
now.
they get you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Animorphs 55, the podcast, is a fan-driven, nostalgic podcast created by Zach Hurdle, Patrick Viersba, and Alex Holton. But don't tell the Yeerks. Theme music provided by Neko Boy. Podcast artwork by Rachel Hurdle. Episodes edited by Patrick Viersba. Based on the 90s sci-fi kids series written by K.A. Applegate, Michael Grant, and other contributing authors. To contact the show, email animorphspodpeople@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.